Welcome back to an episode of Let's Build Twitter. We are in episode 69. Nice. In this episode, we start out in the user controller to create a general purpose update method before we switch over to the user service to create a method that takes in two usernames and updates the user's following and followee list on that model. We needed a controller method to call this newly created service method, so we created a follow method and endpoint inside the user controller. And once that was complete, we hopped into Postman to create a new user and test out this following logic. Finally, to wrap up the episode, we created two new methods inside the user controller to get a specified user's following or followers list, along with accompanying service methods to go along with them. Ending out the episode testing out this brand new logic inside of Postman. As always, I'm Ethan on Koder, and let's hop straight into the development. Before heading back to the front end, let's go ahead and keep working on the back end for another episode or two here. So now I want to kind of set up some general purpose methods and things like that to allow users to follow each other and similar things like that. So we're going to go ahead and start out inside of the user controller. So inside the user controller, I'm going to go ahead and just make a general put mapping to slash, and this is going to be to go ahead and update the user. I'm going to go ahead and say public application user, and we're going to say update user, and this is going to have a at request body and application user u. And I don't know if I have any concrete plans for this, but I had it in here for some reason, so I'm sure we'll come across it in a second. And I need to make sure I spell application user right. Application user. We're going to return user service dot update user. All right, and save. Now we're going to set up a couple methods to follow users and things like that. So let's go ahead and hop into the user service. So now near the bottom, I'll go ahead and say public set of application users. We're going to say follow user. And this is going to take in a string username and a string followee name. And I probably could call this like current user or logged in user or something. Maybe I should do that. Although I think we'll just keep it at username and followee, or user and followee. So now we're going to get the application user. Logged in user is equal to user repo dot find by username. And then we'll pass in the user dot or else throw, and we'll say user does not exist, exception new. Okay, then we want the set of application users of the following list equal to logged in user dot get following. Okay, and I spelled application user wrong, of course. Then we want the application user for the followed user. We're going to say equal to user repo dot find by username, pass in the followee. And then or else throw the user does not exist, exception new. There we go. So now we got the person being followed. We'll say set application user. We'll call this followers list is equal to followed user dot get followers. All right, there we go. Now we need to add the followed user to the following list. So let's go ahead and do that. So we'll say following list dot add, and then we'll say add the followed user. Then we're going to say logged in user dot set following. Whoops, set following. to that followed list. Following list. There we go. And then we need to add the current user to the followers list of the followee. So we'll say followers list.add, and we'll say logged in user. Then we'll say followed user.set followers, and that'll be the followers list. Then we need to update both users, so update both users. So we'll say user repo.save, and we'll go ahead and save the logged in user, and we'll say user repo.save. We'll save the followed user, and then we'll go ahead and return logged in user dot get following, like so. And then we can go ahead and get the following list that the person just followed. So now we want a user controller for this. So let's go ahead and do a user controller. We'll say at put mapping to /follow. And then we'll say public set application user follow user. And then here we'll have our at request header of type HTTP headers dot authorization. This will be our string token. And then we'll have an at request body. And this will be a linked hash map because I'm lazy. This will be string. If I could type string, and we'll call this body. We might need to import that. Yes, we do. So now what we're going to go ahead and do is we'll say string logged in user is equal to token service dot get username from token. We'll get the username. We'll say string followed user is equal to body dot get, and we'll call this followed user, like so. Then we'll return user service dot, and then we'll say follow user logged in and followed user. Now no matter what we do, we're going to have to create a new user. So let me pull up temp mail once again, and now I gotta do all of this again. So inside of here we'll just say follower test and make sure the email is the same. It is. Okay, so follower test. Cool. We'll update the phone. Then we grab follower test. Update the phone number. We have the same phone number. That might be a problem. Oh no, it won't because I never set it up. That's fine. We'll email the code to follower test. Okay. We'll go ahead and verify the code for follower test. Still waiting for the email. There it is. And copy this. Paste. Okay. Update the password for follower test. Cool. So now we should be able to go ahead and we need to log in with unknown coder. Okay. We have our token. Let's grab the token. Copy, and then we need a put mapping to http:// localhost 8000/user/ and this is going to be follow. In the authorization, we'll need a bearer token. I haven't actually tested this, so I don't know if this is going to work. And then our body needs some raw JSON, and inside the body we need followed user is going to be : and we need to go back to our verify email to get the follower test. Paste in that. And let me double check. Okay, everything should be fine. So fingers crossed we have to debug. Okay, and we got back a list. As you can see, we have our follower, yada, 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 and it is in fact the user. So this is a list or a set of users that we are following. So now that we are able to follow someone, let's go ahead and set up a couple of methods inside of our user controller to actually get the people that are following and get the followers lists. That way we can just take a look. So we'll go ahead and say at get mapping to slash following and then username. Like so, and then this will be public set of application user get following list. So who is this person following? And this will take a at path variable, and this will be username string username, so we can get the people that someone is following, for example, who I'm following maybe. And then we'll just return user service dot retrieve following list of a username. Keep in mind, I haven't implemented this yet. I'm going to in a second. And then next we'll say at get mapping to slash followers slash username. And this is going to be the same exact thing. So I'm going to copy this and paste this in. Here, instead, we're going to say retrieve followers list. And save. So now, obviously, there's an issue here because these methods don't exist. So what I'm going to do, and this should be get followers list. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and say create this method inside of user service. And then in here, I'm also going to go ahead and say, hey, make this method inside of user service, and that will fix those errors. And now inside of user service, these are going to be fairly easy. We're just going to get the user and then return their list respectively. So application user is equal to user repo dot find by username. Pass in that username dot or else throw. The user does not exist. Exception. Cool. And then we can just return user.get. And this is for following. So get who they're following. And it's going to be basically the same thing on this one. So go ahead and get the user and we'll get the followers. And save. So there we go. Let's go ahead and walk through and create the user again. So if we come back in here to register, so we'll go ahead and test, get this guy again, copy this, update the phone number. Okay, do the email. Okay, now we're gonna follow each other. So do this, and then we'll go and I'll grab the new email, throw that in there. Follower test, cool. And then what we can do is we can go ahead and log in, which is right here. So we'll log into unknown coder. We'll grab this guy and copy. Then we'll go ahead and follow the person. So go into our authorization, put our auth in there, paste. The username wasn't found, so I gotta make sure that whenever I do this, let me grab the follow test. Hopefully I didn't crash. I might have crashed the server. For some reason the password's null, so let's try to reset the password. I wonder if I messed up and I didn't copy the paste the password in. So let's paste in the password. Okay, now let's try to log in as the user. There we go. So somehow I messed up I didn't paste it in right. Let's go ahead and copy let's go ahead and follow unknown coder. So if I come in here, go into our authorization, I put in the thing for them. Okay, followed it. Although this should be Oh shoot, I followed myself. That's not good. So I might want to make a condition where you can't follow yourself. That makes sense. There we go. Yeah, I accidentally followed myself. I'll put that on the list of bugs that I need to fix. So now what we can go ahead and do is we can go ahead and say make a GET request to http:// localhost 8000 /users/ following / then we can say unknown coder to see unknown coders following, and no one. Oh yes, we need to grab. Although you shouldn't have to be logged in for that. I'm gonna have to make a change to the configuration. Let's go ahead and go in authorization, and I'll just throw the bearer token that I have now. Any user that's logged in can see it. So you can see the people following, or the people that unknown coder are following, are test follower, and then if I say followers, we should see that it's the same person. So unknown coder is following followers, and so on and so forth either way. So that should be working. I need to write down that there's a bug that you can follow yourself, so I'll take a look into that. Unfortunately, that's going to be it for today. If you guys enjoyed, please stick around for the next episode by hitting that subscribe button. You'll know exactly when it comes out, especially with that bell icon. If you did enjoy the content today, please sure to leave a thumbs up. If you did enjoy it, leave a thumbs down. Either way, it helps out with the algorithm all the same. And finally, if you have any suggestions or feedback for me, make sure you leave a comment down below. With that being said, I appreciate you all for watching. Stay tuned for the next episode. Peace out, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.